Yeah, so hi guys, this is Shadow Girl Sherry, and I didn't know if I should go ahead and say something like "Boo, this is Shadow Girl Sherry" or whatever, because guys, I know that you already know what the date is because it's been this date all day, and we've rolled into the night, and of course it's still the same date. Okay, yesterday it I became kind of informed of this, I'll say, and guys, I don't sometimes when I first go live, I kind of find myself being nervous. I don't think that I'm going to be too nervous tonight, even though it has been a little bit since I have gone live. I think the last time I went live was live, it may have been like a month ago, and I'm going to be doing, apologizing and all that, this, that, and the third. But I think the last time that I went live, it may have been January, it may have been January the 11th. And if you are watching this video right now, most likely you are you're among the awake and aware. You are most likely into things like angel numbers. You may be into angel numbers, different things like that. So I said that I was thinking that if I can remember right, the last time I went live may have been the first month 11th day. With that being said, the first month 11th day, it's said to be a portal. It's like an angel number, or you might want to call it an angel number, or your spirit guides trying to communicate with you, those kind of different things. Just keep those ideas in your mind. But again, if you're watching this, you probably already know about these different portals, like the first month, first day, the first month 11th day, the second month February the second month second day, the third month third day, the fourth month fourth day, the fifth month fifth day. Basically, you have numbers that are beside each other, and they're repeating. So with that being said, it just makes being that the number is doubled or anything like that, it just makes the energy of a number more significant. It makes it stand out more. It adds more extra oomph or energy to it. But basically, if I can remember right, the last time I went live, I do believe that it was for the 11th, the first month 11th day, the 111 portal. And I I think that it was my last video may have been about the spiritual significance of keys. I'm almost for sure, but basically, guys, it's been a while since I've gone live, and I don't think I'm going to be nervous or anything like that. But I wanted to make this video. This is like kind of like a last minute kind of an idea that I pulled together because yesterday it just hit me that today was that it was yesterday, but I was thinking, okay, today is the 12th, but, and that was yesterday, but then I'm thinking, okay, if today's the 12th, tomorrow is Friday, and it's going to be Friday the 13th. And with that being said, I wanted to make a video about that, and I figured that that would be a way that Shadow Girl Sherry, could sneak my way back into making videos and so on and so forth again, because of the fact that, well, I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry, and being that today is Friday the 13th, I figured that this would be the perfect time for me to go ahead and, what's the word, how do I want to put it? I could make an appearance and kind of sneak my way in and make an appearance and let everyone know why I have gone. I've been missing in action, basically. I've been missing in action for a little bit now. And guys, if you're watching this video, most likely you're into the law of attraction, things like that, because my channel is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction. And I'll go ahead and tell you, what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction is the idea that like attracts like, through your thoughts. If you are thinking positive thoughts, hanging out with positive people, doing positive things, then through the law of attraction, you would be attracting positive things back into your life. On the other hand, it works in the same way. If you are thinking negative thoughts, hanging out with negative people, constantly doing negative things, then you would be attracting the negative back into your life. My channel is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction. And here, my idea is to keep your vibration high and to attract the better things in life. And, you know, we're here, we're living life. Why not try to attract the best in life? But basically, guys, again, I've been a little bit MIA and missing in action. And I want to be to tell you all a little bit as to why I've been missing in action. It's just, guys, it's everyday life. It's okay. If you've ever heard of the saying, life is what happens when you are making other plans. And basically, the year that we just came out of was the year of the snake. And being that, you know, snakes are a symbol of change. And when you have change, you know, there's another word that starts with CH, just like change, and that would be chaos. And when you have change, there can be some friction and there can be some chaos. And that was the whole idea, said to be, you know, a big idea that you know, that went along with the year of the snake. Basically, you know, why are snakes a symbol of change? Basically, snakes shed their skin. And if you think about, okay, so I'm thinking this everything off the top of my head, guys, because I didn't make notes to go live tonight. My idea was I just wanted to come and freestyle and basically get back into going live again and tell you all, you know, what's been going on, a little bit about what's going on, and then jump into the video. And basically, guys, you know, when it comes to snakes, last year, 2025, was the year of the snake. And, you know, snakes are said to be like a symbol of change because, you know, snakes shed their skin and that's how they change. And basically, when the snake sheds its skin, it's changed. And that was the whole idea, you know, for the year of the snake. And it's so sad that right now, even though we're in the year 2026, we are still kind of shedding that year of 2025, and we're still getting rid of that snake or that snake skin, whatever you want to call it. And we are now basically, I do believe that the big thing, the big time for, even though, you know, January 1st, we had the year of 2026 come in, there is I don't want to get too far into it, but basically I do believe that it's February the 17th. And if you're watching this, you already know what I'm talking about. February the 17th is supposed to be the time where we're really beginning that year of the, what is it called? This is the year of the fire horse. I do believe it's the fire horse. And that will be the real start of the year of the fire horse. And guys, I said in my last video, I do believe it's the last video, and even on New Year's Eve, when I think about a horse, I think about things moving quickly. I think about their hair blowing in the wind. I think about freedom. So if we had that year of the snake, and then we are going from the year of the snake, we've shed the skin, and then we are now basically the year of the fire horse, then I am seeing a horse running free and, you know, picking up speed, and we've shed all the old stuff and we're moving into new things. So with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and say to, you know, start out and say things like that. But guys, again, yesterday when I realized that today was going to be Friday the 13th, there was a part of me that just wanted to make a video because I had already started an idea when it comes to Friday the 13th anyway. And basically, guys, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what that idea is and what you're looking at right now. Guys, I go by the name Shadow Girl Sherry. And why do I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry? Basically, in any of my videos, for right now, I don't appear in any of my videos. It even happened for when let's see, it was the 8th month, 8th day, for the Lionsgates portal. I decided that all the way up until that point, I hadn't even gone live. I hadn't even gone live before. So I decided for the Lionsgates portal that, you know, I was thinking, okay, am I going to go ahead and be bold? Because the Lionsgates portal is all about being bold and stepping out and being your authentic self and letting yourself shine and be who you are and being seen. But for me, being that I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry, I don't appear in my videos, and you don't know what I look like. But I've there's going to be a certain point where I am going to want to come out and show you what I look like and all that. I just haven't gotten to that point yet. So with that being said, for the 8th month, 8th day during the Lionsgates portal, the Lionsgates portal is Leo energy, and Leo energy is all about being bold, stepping out, all that kind of different, idea. It's about courage, it's about confidence, and yeah, I mean, a lion is the king of the jungle. But I was a bit of a cowardly lion, and I didn't come out and show you, what I look like. And it's a thing of discomfort. It's a thing of, I think about at one point how, everyone didn't just put every little detail about their life out for everyone to see. And there have been things in the news lately that it just kind of makes me think, it's a good thing to not let everybody know every little thing about you. You don't have to have pictures out there of your family. You don't have to have pictures out there for everybody to see of, like, if you just had a baby or something. You don't have to have it up for everybody to see. And to me, it just makes sense to be that way. It's a thing of safety. I've explained that before, and I don't want to go too far into it. But again, I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. And basically, when I say Shadow Girl Sherry, being that I don't show up in my videos, that's kind of like, it's a mask I'm wearing, because you're listening to my voice, but you don't know what I look like. And right now, even in this picture, you see a mask. In time, hopefully that'll change. I'll get to the point where I'm okay. I'll take the mask off, and you'll know what I look like, but I'm just not there yet. But guys, I had already named my channel, and after I named my channel Sunset Songs, for whatever reason, I just found myself calling myself Shadow Girl, and then I added the Sherry. And but at that point, I didn't even know what shadow work was. I had no idea what shadow work was, but I was already calling myself Shadow Girl Sherry. So with that being said, that does, I started to get videos, and I've said it before. The algorithm started sending me videos about things about shadow work and things like that. And there's a creator. A lot of people already know who Shira7 is. I kept getting her videos, and finally I kept seeing her videos or whatever popping up in my algorithm, and finally I'm like, okay, these videos keep popping up. Let me go ahead and take a listen and see what all this is about. And I'm listening to her videos, watching her videos, and she's saying things about shadow work and all this different stuff. And that's when I'm like, okay, I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry. I need to do some shadow work. Okay, and I actually found out that there's a lot of power in doing that. It's not necessarily a bad thing. So it's about calling your power in and all that, whole other video or whatever. But guys, I know that I haven't been going live. I haven't made a live video, went live in a while now. And it is because I kind of put it on that whole idea of the year of the snake, chaos going on, changes, and, you know, and again, change, it doesn't necessarily come easy. And I said it earlier in this video that life is what happens when you are making other plans. And I had this whole idea, started with you guys about how I wanted to make videos for every month of this year of 2026. I wanted to have the main thing that I wanted to do that I wanted to make like a big project for this year was for every month of 2026, I wanted to basically start talking about birth charts. And the way that I wanted to do this was, okay, in the first month, I wanted to talk about the first house because there are 12 houses in your birth chart. I wanted to talk about the first house in the first month, the second house in the second month, the third house in the third month, and so on and so forth. And because there's 12 houses, 12, and there are 12 months in the year, so I thought that would be perfect. And the way that I wanted to do it is I wanted to, with each month, I was going to set up a scene where I was going to make the scene like look like a house setting. It would look like a house. And basically when you clicked or you watched the video or you joined the live, whatever, that was basically like you were opening the door to that house. And the first, basically when I first started discussing that idea, I discussed it in the month of December. And the reason why I started in December is because at that point we had, there were gingerbread houses, being sold in the stores and all that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, I'll start there. I'll talk a little bit about gingerbread houses and present the idea. And then once the new year comes in, for every month, I'm going to talk about a different house in your birth chart. And guys, and whenever you clicked on the video or whatever, basically you were opening the door to the house. I did a live where a couple of lives back, I did a video where basically I had it was a gingerbread house, not really a gingerbread house. It was a cookie house, but it was the cookie house from Stranger Things. It was the Creole house. And basically the idea was, if you go over on my channel, Sunset Songs, and you were to click on that particular video, the video looks like, a pretty scene where like it's a house. And, it's kind of like if you see, you go by a big, beautiful house, you think that everything's probably perfect in that house. It's probably a happy couple. They might have a couple of children. It's a beautiful house. There's beautiful things going on inside the house. Well, it basically wasn't, I didn't make it out to be that way. I made the outside, of, the picture, whatever, look nice. And then when you click on the video and you come inside, that's when you would see the Creole house from Stranger Things. And obviously Stranger Things was a very popular show, obviously. And it's kind of like not really scary, but the actor from Freddy Krueger, what's his name, Robert Englund, was in, he was a part of the show, part of a couple of episodes or whatever. And so there was a scary factor to it, but it wasn't like crazy scary. But I kind of worked it from that angle. But basically, I think you get what I'm saying. I basically wanted to set up a scene and, with every month, I was going to make it look like a house. And then when you clicked and you come inside, basically open the door, I'll say, use the key, all that, come inside. Then I'm going to start talking about the houses or whatever. And but guys, it didn't work out like that. We're already in the second month, and I haven't had a chance to make that very first video. Make that very first video about the first house of your birth chart. And I was supposed to do that in January. But because, we're shedding that year of the snake and crazy things going on, still things going on that, I still have to shed. And I feel like it's all been true, because life is what happens when you're making other plans. I was going to get that video made, whatever. It didn't happen that way. We're in the second month now, and I haven't did the first house. I should be doing the second house now. I haven't had a chance to do it. And that's why I wanted to come on and kind of apologize and kind of make a connection again, because I feel like I've lost my connection. I can definitely tell, the last lives that I had, I had, the lives that I was doing up to this point, they were pretty successful. Like, I got up to like 1K at one point, I think maybe 2K at one point. I was doing pretty good, but there were some things that happened that I kind of fell off the horse, and there was nothing I could do about it. Life is what happens. Life is what happens when you are making other plans, and things were just coming at me, and I had to take a little bit of a break because there were just too many things going on, too many things coming at me, and I had to take a break and take care of those things. And here I'm back with you guys, and I can definitely tell that it's had an effect. I know that TikTok, the algorithm doesn't pick up when you get to the point where you're not, you're not, again, not only have I not went live in over a month, it's been like a month since I went live. I really haven't been, getting on TikTok, period, because, and you're supposed to, when you're on TikTok and you're trying to get your channel, you're trying to get your channel out there, get your word out there, get yourself out there, whatever. You have to be consistent with it. And I haven't been consistent, obviously. I haven't been being consistent. And again, I don't want to keep apologizing or whatever, but again, life is what happens when you are making other plans, and I can definitely tell that it has had an effect. TikTok won't, it's not going to push your videos if you're not going to be consistent. So I've got to get to the point where I got to build back up with that consistency, and I got to get back out in front of you guys again. And I plan to do that. But I thought that I would go ahead and take this opportunity, take Friday the 13th, and that would be a good way for Shadow Girl Sherry to make an appearance again. Perfect time for Shadow Girl Sherry to show up and make a little bit of an appearance again. And, keep the mask on, obviously, because when you think about Friday the 13th, I think that there's a name that you think of, and that is Jason Voorhees. And obviously, Jason Voorhees, he wore a mask. Now, my mask, I tried to make, guys, I'm a Gemini. I myself, Shadow Girl Sherry, am a Gemini. And if you know about Gemini, Gemini is the twins. And basically, it's kind of like a reflection. It's the twins, it's two people. If you think about twins, if one twin were to look in a mirror, if I were to look in a mirror, I would see a reflection of myself. So that's kind of like my twin. You get what I'm saying? And the energy of Gemini is the twins. The mascot of Gemini is the twins. There's a lot of energy there. But I also wanted to say that, guys, the image that you are looking at right now, I like to take, when I, come up with the image that I want to present, for you guys, I try to make it inviting, and I try to make it up myself. I know that there is AI and there's all this different stuff that you obviously can take advantage of. But when I first got started, my idea was I wanted to add my own personal touch to my videos as much as I could. I put my own handwriting in it. The only thing, basically, I don't show myself, so that's not there. But if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I have a way in writing things out, and it's a different type of a way in writing. It came to me during COVID-19, and it came to me during COVID-19. I started writing things out in a different way. I was journaling. I like to journal. And I was journaling, and this different kind of a way came out, and I liked it. I like it, and I just stuck with it. And I decided to bring that in, add it to my YouTube, TikTok, whatever, add it to my channel, Sunset Songs. And but even you see my handwriting. I like to lay my own items out. I don't appear in my videos, but I like to just, whatever the subject matter that I'm talking about for that particular, what I'll call episode, I try to lay out, just, I'm like, okay, let me go around and find stuff that, my own stuff, whatever, and just, lay it out, whatever has to do with whatever I'm talking about. I'm like, let me find something and I'll put it in there in the video. And that's like an invitation for you to come and click and watch the video. And just add my own personal touch. But at the same time, I'm trying to get to the point where, I'll do that every now and again, but there is nothing wrong with taking advantage of technology and, what's new and hip and what's going on right now. So I've decided that here and there, more and more and more, I'm going to try to work with, I'm just going to use AI. And this is a AI generated picture. I make my videos from my phone, and my phone, what comes with my phone is Gemini. And, I can go and ask Gemini whatever and look up the information and tell me whatever. Or I can just say, okay, Gemini, I want you to create an image for me. And for me, this is perfect because I'm a Gemini, and I feel like, well, I found my twin here because I'm a Gemini myself. And then my phone, it has Gemini. And I hope you know what I'm talking about. It has Gemini. So I'm just like, this is perfect for me. So basically, I had Gemini, my twin, I had Gemini generate this image for me. I explained what I wanted the image to look like, and this is what Gemini came up with. And I wanted to let you know this because obviously I got to let you know these are AI generated photos. I didn't do this. I just came up with the idea, told Gemini, and this is what Gemini came up with, and I agreed to it. I like it, and here we are. And so I wanted to let you know that. But basically, the mask you're looking at stands for me, Shadow Girl Sherry, because I don't appear in my videos. And being that I don't appear in my videos, that again is basically kind of like wearing a mask. I thought this would be a good way to do this live, being again that today's Friday the 13th, and obviously again, when you think about Friday the 13th, a lot of us think about the movie Friday the 13th, and you think about Jason Voorhees in Crystal Lake. Okay, but my idea was, okay, I don't want to use Crystal Lake because I didn't come up with Crystal Lake. That's Friday the 13th. But I wanted to take from that idea, and I just said, okay, I'm going to call it a lake of crystals. And my idea was, whenever Friday the 13th comes up, what you're looking at right now is basically a lake of crystals. And you see I didn't even tell Gemini this. I told Gemini, okay, I want a moon, I want a mask, want the moon, obviously, because it's night. I want the mask, standing for me, Shadow Girl Sherry. I want the house, again, because the big thing that I want to talk about this year is our birth charts. And within your birth chart, there are 12 houses. So I wanted a house in the backdrop here. And I wanted the night sky, and I wanted a lake. And that was going to basically stand for Crystal Lake. But because I didn't come up with Crystal Lake, I decided I'll change it up a little bit, and I'll call it Lake of Crystals. And everybody would know what I'm talking about, obviously, being that today's Friday the 13th. The Lake of Crystals is basically Crystal Lake. And I started this up, maybe not the last time that we had a Friday the 13th, but I do believe it was the Friday the 13th before that. Basically, my idea was, If you watching in my videos, most likely you're into things like, obviously you're into the law of attraction. You might be into things like tarot cards. You might think about a crystal ball. You might be into kind of like witchy things, whatever. And when I say witchy, to make you feel more comfortable, I'll say witchy as in which way do you want to go? Do you choose to think positive and walk down the path of thinking positive, or are you going to walk down that path of thinking negative? And obviously my channel is about my personal journey with the law of attraction, but I'm trying to stay on a high vibration and think positive. And not saying that I do kind of struggle with the negative thoughts and things like that, but trying to change things up. And that was one of the reasons why I started my channel, because I wanted to try to look at things in a different way. And I wanted to see how that would work out for me and share the journey with you guys. And we just take the journey together. So, but basically, if you're watching this, you might be into things like tarot cards, stuff like that. And you might be into crystals. And basically, my idea of, the last time, the last Friday the 13th we had, and maybe it may have been the Friday the 13th before, I had an idea of what I did. Being that I'm a Gemini, I thought about a mirror, and I've talked about mirrors before in my videos. On the Lionsgates portal, I turned an upside down mirror into a stage, and that was perfect for the Lionsgates portal. The last full moon we had was actually a full moon in Leo. And it's so funny that for the Lionsgates portal, I had this uncontrollable urge to, the idea just kept coming to me of a stage, like going out on a stage and, going out on a stage and just, getting over, like, you kind of think about stage fright, because I'm one of those people where I am kind of shy, but I had this uncontrollable urge to, I just kept having this idea of a stage. And with this last full moon that was in Leo, I kept hearing, videos about stages, like Leo energy. And I had already thought about it again, that for the Lionsgates portal, I had already thought about that. It just came to me, a stage that just kept coming to me, a stage. And how did I turn the Lionsgates portal into a stage? I turned it into a stage because basically what I did was, I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini sun, but my moon is in Leo. And at that point, I just had this uncontrollable urge I just had this idea of a stage. And what I did, being that I am a Gemini, I just kind of thought about it, and I'm like, okay, Gemini is, it's the twin energy, and it's a reflection. Anytime you look in a mirror, you're looking at your twin. You get what I'm saying? Whether you're a Gemini or not, you're looking at an image that looks just like you. That's, you get what I'm saying? And I'm a Gemini, and I just had this, I'm a Gemini sun, but then I'm a Leo moon. And for the Lionsgates portal, I had this uncontrollable urge. It was just like, what is it about a stage? A stage is a stage. And being that I'm a Gemini, I think about a mirror image, a reflection too. And so what I did is I had a mirror, and it's a round mirror. For whatever reason, I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn this mirror into a stage. I want to stay Shadow Girl Sherry. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this round mirror, and I'm going to turn it upside down so I won't be seen. But at the same time, I'm going to say this is a stage. And I'm saying that I'm stepping out on that stage because at that point, I dropped the idea of not going live. It was a little bit of a cowardly line because you still don't know what I look like. But I said, okay, what I'm going to do, the way that I'm going to kind of get away from that is I'm going to call this upside down mirror. You can't see me, but I'm going to turn it into a stage. And the way that I'm going to turn it into a stage is I'm going to go live. And I was so nervous to do it. I'm like, oh my goodness. When I just make the videos and I'm all by myself and I can, you know, there's a comfort level to that. But it got amped up a little bit more when as I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, you know, someone had told me, they're like, okay, what you need to do to build your audience and all that and make more of a connection. My channel on YouTube, I've got to work on it more. But I did notice that once I started going live, I started getting more subscribers. And of course, I've had these different times where I haven't been able to go live, so I've kind of fell off the horse again, but I got to get back on. And basically, somebody told me you need to go live, and that's how you're going to build your audience. And I noticed when I started going live, obviously there were lots of people joining. I was nervous and everything. Then I said, okay, for the Lionsgates portal, I'm going to go live. And during the Lionsgates portal, the 8th month, I think it was either the 8th month, 8th day, or the 8th month, 7th day, right around that time that was the first time I went live. And I just described it as taking a mirror, turning it upside down so I could still be Shadow Girl Sherry. You don't know what I look like, but I'm going to go live now. And I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous because I'm going live. When you go live, you don't know what could happen. You know, I don't know, just something could happen. Somebody could say something that might make me feel uncomfortable, whatever. But then I have to keep in mind that even if someone makes a comment that I don't like, they're still commenting. So if somebody comes in, as much as I want positive feedback and positive stuff, even if someone were to say something negative, they're still saying something. And for them to say something and leave it in the comments, they are watching me and they're giving me their attention. So, and what's that saying? Attention is like the highest, currency, I guess. If you're watching this, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But when you pay attention, just keep that in mind. Like time it's valuable when paying attention. When you pay attention to one thing, when you're looking at one thing, there's so many other things that you have said no to. When you say yes to one thing, you're putting a lot of other things on the back burner. So I want anybody that is thinking about, doing content creation, anything like that, keep that in mind when you think about, oh man, well, what if somebody says something negative? Well, even if they say something negative, again, Share 7 even said it. Any kind of attention, the attention is still on you. So if as long as people are watching, and that's what I'm going to say about right now, I haven't been on in so long, and now I've got to start from scratch again. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. I couldn't help that I had to go and take care of some things. Some things were popping up, and I'm like, I got to take care of these things. I don't have the time to really dedicate to my videos right now. I missed you guys. I couldn't wait to come back, and I'm back. I've even come up with a way to, I wanted to kind of make the announcement that I've come up with a way to make things a lot easier on myself. So it's not going to be as hard for me to gather my information. Once I add this one little touch, it's one thing. I think that I'm going to be able to go a lot. I'm going to be able to go live a lot more. And the process it's not going to be as complicated. So I'm really looking forward to that. It shouldn't be much longer, and I'm so excited about that. But I wanted to go live tonight and, just talk about the energy of Friday the 13th, the idea that just like when people think about a shadow or whatever like that, there's some people they think of, negative, or they think negative thoughts, okay, negative things. That's the same idea with Friday the 13th. It's put out there to look like a negative situation, a negative day. But if you're into spirituality, you're among the awake and aware. It's said in the spiritual community that, Friday the 13th is actually a good day. 13 is a feminine number. Obviously, when you think about any, femininity, you think about, you think about femininity. If you think about women are, they can bring life into the world. So when you think about feminine energy, you think about the number 13. I, I don't want to say anything wrong because I don't have my notes. I didn't make notes tonight. But basically, is it that women have like 13 periods in a year? I don't want to lie, but there's something about significant about the number 13 and a woman's menstrual cycle, right? Um, and um, it just, if you think about, and obviously again, women, bring life into the world. It's a creative energy. So if you think about Friday the 13th, it's actually a day that you can work with creative, there is a very fertile time here. It's a very fertile day. It's a very good day for manifestation because you think about women, you think about creation, and you think about a pregnant woman. There's new life. There's life available in that day, and you can work with the energy to bring plant seeds for what the things that you want in your life. And I don't have my notes in front of me, so I'm not going to go too far into it. But I just wanted to use this day this night to try to kind of reintroduce myself and um, talk about, how kind of like in Hollywood, I'll say, and just all around, Friday the 13th has been given this bad rap. But my idea was just like I've made some videos about um, you know, periods and menstrual cycle, all those type of things. We think about the cramping and all that, but obviously it's very necessary, and it's really is a beautiful thing. Some people might think it's not, but it really is a beautiful thing. That's where life begins. But when you think about Fridays also deal. Um, Fridays are the day that it deals with that energy of Freya. I don't have my notes, but Freya. You can also use Fridays to work with the goddess of love, luxury, beauty. Think about Aphrodite. Think about there's a Roman goddess and there is the Greek goddess. In it's there's in they're both of them are the same. They're like the equivalent. Like, okay, I don't know. I don't have my notes. There's Aphrodite and there's Venus, and of course Venus is also a planet. And Venus is a planet, and when you think about Venus, you think there's different songs. I'm your Venus, I'm your fire. You get what I'm saying? And it's just that energy of, you can work with Venus, Aphrodite energy on Fridays, any Friday. You can do it any day, but especially on Fridays, the energy is said to be more potent. So when you combine all that and you think about Friday, and then you think about, there's it, it's just been given a bad rap. Hollywood and different things ran away with it. And anytime you think about something, and you think about Friday the 13th and how the idea is tried to be put out there as such a bad thing. Well, whenever you have a bunch of people and they're all thinking, something, whether it's positive or negative, there's a lot of energy in that. And this was originally supposed to be a day where it's feminine energy and it's supposed to be a positive thing, a fertile time for, manifestation, planting good seeds. Well, think about it. Um if the idea is put in your head for you to think negative and to have fear and all that, well then think about it. You're not going to be using it for the right thing. And it's not like um you know it's not like if you don't look into things, you have to look into things for yourself. And if you don't do that, then, well, then you're just going to be led by whatever you're told. You get what I'm saying? And if you have a bunch of people and the idea is to think negative and all that, then there we are. And it's something, you feed into. If you're watching scary things and all that, I think you get what I'm saying. It's just, don't get me wrong, I love the Friday the 13th movies. I love scary movies and all that, but the way I understand it, it's said in the spiritual community, that this day is really supposed to be, it can be used for positive, for positive, and to plant positive seeds. You get what I'm saying? But anyhow, I was going to talk more about this, and even when you think about, Friday the 13th and the movies, there is a feminine energy in that, and I'll probably talk about it the next time a Friday the 13th comes, and I think we have one coming up. I do believe we have another one in March, so hopefully by then I will have built my audience up again, because I can definitely tell the fact that I haven't gone live in a while has affected. And TikTok is not, they're not going to push you if you're not consistent, and I can definitely tell. I can see the drop. Like, the last video I made was very, very, last time I went live was so successful, but I haven't gone live or made a video. I haven't been on TikTok in like a month. So I've got to start appearing more. And I'm going to continue kind of, you're looking at a mask. I'm going to be wearing the mask because I'm not going to be appearing in my videos, because I like to keep that mystique or mystery. I think people like that, I do. That's what I think. But basically, I just want to quickly say that the feminine energy is in the movie of Friday the 13th. It's still in there, because if I can remember right, obviously, there was a mother. Jason Voorhees had a mom, and I don't have my notes written in front of me, and I don't. It's been a while since I've watched it. That's an old movie. I think the Friday the 13th came out in like 1980, 1979, something. I do believe it was like 1980. So it's an old movie, but to me, it's classic. That's a classic Halloween or Friday the 13th movie, right? Just like, Michael Myers and all that. And I actually saw the name Michael pop up in this live. But anyhow, I'm thinking about a mask and all that. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, all that, masks. And guys, I'm gonna quickly say, Shadow Girl, I'm not scary looking. I'm not. It's just, the mask for me is the fact that I don't appear in my videos, and to me, it's kind of like a safety thing. There's been some things in the news lately where it's just not the best for everybody to know every little thing about you, and to know, who all your family members are, and to be, to show the inside of your heart. You don't have to put everything up there for everybody to see. It's coming out. You don't have to do it. It's not necessarily a safe thing, and that's where that's the angle that I'm coming from, right? But just right now, I'm just thinking about the feminine energy right now, and that Friday the 13th did include that, because if I can remember, I know that there's Jason Voorhees, but I think the idea of the movie was, the very beginning of the movie was, Jason drowns. And I don't know if there was some disability or something, maybe he couldn't talk or something. And I think, I haven't watched it in a while, but I do believe, he's at Crystal Lake, and there were some counselors that were supposed to be watching him, and, watching all the children. And if I can remember right, Jason drowns. And I think it may have been, and I got to watch the movie the next time before I, go live on Friday the 13th. But guys, I just wanted to reach out again. But I think what was going on, this was a movie about, a lot of times slasher movies, especially the 80s and things like that, the big thing that they like to show was like teenagers. And you know what teenagers like to do. You get a teenage boy and a teenage girl together, and they like each other. What's a lot of times what's going on. And in a lot of those movies, like the 80s horror flicks and things like that, they'll show teenagers, and they're doing what teenagers like to do. And a lot of times, okay, here's the guy, the teenage, young man on top of the girl or whatever, and they're doing what comes naturally, whatever. And the next thing you know, Jason or somebody has come, Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers or somebody's come and put like some big long knife down through the guy, and it then ended up, going through both of them. And if you think about it, you're looking at, and Gemini did this for me. The AI did this for me. I described what I wanted the picture to look like, but I said I called the image Lake of Crystals. I put the moon. I named the idea, gave the idea of the moon and the mask and the house and the crystal, the lake, and then the crystals, and then this is Shadow Girl Sherry. But Gemini itself, AI, it came up with the knives. Those are knives, and that makes me think of, kind of looks like torpedoes, or it kind of looks like um maybe like the Air Force. When I first looked at it, I'm like, are those like like the Air Force, like the airplanes or whatever? And then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, that's like daggers or knives. So, but you see I think see a little bit of red, white, and blue going on. That made me think of the Air Force. And they kind of look like planes or whatever. But I'm looking at it, and the more I looked at it, I'm like, no, wait a minute, I think those are knives. And I didn't say anything about knives or whatever, but I like the added touch. But again, you think about Friday the 13th, and I'm looking at that as well, and I'm thinking about like a spiritual war. And I really do believe that when it comes to Gemini energy, I'm a Gemini. If you know anything about tarot cards, you know that when it comes to Gemini deals with the swords. The swords, there's pentacles, there's wands. Gemini energy is swords. And it's swords because it's dealing with the mind. And basically, the way I look at it, it's kind of like a spiritual war or warfare. And it's just the idea of your mind. Like, your mind can be like a prison. Your mind can be a prison. Your mind can be the mind. It can be a prison, and it can be a fight. Like, within your mind, you can be fighting with yourself. You could be fighting with your thoughts. And when it comes to tarot, if you know anything about tarot, if anybody is watching this right now, if you know about tarot, you know that there are pentacles, there are wands. I'm trying to remember all of them. There's pentacles. That's a lot of times, that's money because it's coins. Okay. There's wands. So that's like this, like sticks, or, sticks of wood, whatever, but wands. Okay. Trying to think of all of them. There's a major and there's the minor cards, but the one that I know, that I'm thinking of right now, obviously because I'm a Gemini, I'm thinking about swords, and the swords correspond with Gemini, and it deals with the mind. And the more that I look into it and I think about Gemini energy, it's kind of like a war going on in your mind. And it's about it's a twin energy. The more and more I study it, again, because I am a Gemini, and I with all the different moon phases and all that, I learn about, all the different zodiac signs, obviously, because I'm into that stuff. But, when it comes to Gemini energy, that's extra special because I'm a Gemini. So, when you think about the tarot, swords go with Gemini. It's dealing with the mind. And thinking about Virgo, and because Virgo, there's something about Virgo and Gemini. They have a lot to do with each other, but I don't want to go all into it. I don't want to be saying things and not speaking from like fact, right? But I just, if you know any Geminis, whatever, it's the energy of two. And you think about twins, you think about kind of like so above, so below. I've even seen recently where if you're a Gemini, I've seen a couple. seen a couple of things where, and it made sense to me, where if you're a Gemini, you should think about like, does if you are a Gemini, does like your mom or whatever, did she by any chance have like a miscarriage? If you're a Gemini, it's so said that, your twin, you might feel like you have a twin. And see, that's true for me. I'm a Gemini, but the thing about it is my mother had, I have another sibling, but my mother lost two children. She had two miscarriages. And the more and more I get into spirituality and I'm reading up information and things like that, I saw where, if you're a Gemini, you may have your Gemini energy, or that other twin that you basically have. It could be the fact that if you're a Gemini, your mom may have lost a baby. And then what will happen is she'll go on and have a Gemini. And see, that happened for me. I'm a Gemini, so basically it's kind of like I have a twin, and that twin is in heaven. I hope you get what I'm saying. I've been reading up on this stuff. The more and more I get into it, you start picking up on more and more different things. And I'm like, wow, that makes sense. Because, my mother, my mom had two miscarriages. And it was something that it used to eat away at her. It really used to eat away at her. And I would try to comfort her and things about it, with that. And obviously that's a hurtful thing. And it obviously is a hurtful thing, and it bothered her, and I had to comfort her. She got to the point where she wanted to name her the two children that she lost. She just felt like, well, they didn't get a name, they didn't have a chance, all this because I lost them, whatever. What did I do wrong? Beating herself up about it, whatever. And again, recently, being into the law of attraction, spirituality is such a big book. There's so much to it. You can get into crystals, you can get into tarot cards. There's so many different that you can get into angel numbers, you can get into herbs, you can get into the moon phases, you can get into the zodiacs. There's just so much to it. It's all about how far do you want to get into the book. I just call it, when I think about spirituality, I just think about this huge ongoing book. That's what I think about. I just think about opening this huge ongoing book, and it's just like, okay, what chapter, what page am I going to read today? What chapter am I going to look in today? And it's just like, I need, I think about it, and I'm a Gemini, so that's a little bit of scatterbrain energy. It's like, okay, what am I going to focus on? And sometimes I am a little ADHD. I can't lie. I'm a little ADHD, all that different stuff. But right now, guys, I'm going to quickly say this. Right now, it is 11:11. I just noticed it on my clock, on my phone. I make my videos from my phone. It is 11:11. Right now, we are gathered together right now, as I should be saying, like, dearly beloved, we are gathered together right now. Dearly beloved, we are gathered together right now. Basically at 11:11. I was thinking, 11:11. And guys, I always even say that Gemini energy, if you know about Gemini, the tarot card that corresponds, the main tarot card that corresponds with Gemini is the Lover's Tarot card. And I was just kind of playing around with you guys saying, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today, like it was a wedding or whatever. But the tarot card that goes along with that most corresponds with Gemini. I mean, it's more than one, but the main one is the Lover's Tarot card, right? And in that card, it's an image of a man and a woman. They're basically in the Garden of Eden, and there is, there's a snake in the video, or in the tarot card. There's an angel above, and there, different people say different things about who which angel it is. But I think when I think about this tarot card, for the most part, in a lot of places I've read, the archangel that's in that featured in that tarot card, the Lover's Tarot card, is Archangel Raphael. And Archangel Raphael is about, travel. You go to him for health. If you have some type of a health issue, that you need help with, you need guidance with. If you're looking for a life partner, again, this is Lover's Tarot card, you're looking for a life partner, then you might want to work with Archangel Raphael. He said to come in like a green light, and that goes on the green, the chakra that goes along with Archangel Raphael. It's the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is green. It's green in color. Okay. And but basically, I'm getting off course here. I'm talking about Dearly Beloved. And guys, my name is, I go by Shadow Girl Sherry. I did a video a while ago about the significance of your name, looking up your name and what your name means. And I looked into the meaning of my name, which is Sherry. And it stands for beloved, and it stands for darling. And I love that darling because, when it comes to, okay, the show Bewitched, the mother always says, hello, darling. Hello, darling. And I think about that, and I think about darling, like, the meaning of darling, obviously. And then I think about, beloved. And these are the things that, my name Sherry stands for. Beloved, like, I looked up all the different words that go along with beloved. It's something about a plain, like a field, or like a plain where things is a fertile plain. I made a video about that too, and I forget the name of the video, but I'm just randomly talking, because these are the things that are coming to me. But basically, guys, what I wanted to tell you about was just a little bit ago was 11/11. Whenever we have 11/11, 10/10, anything like that, and we're gathered together, dearly beloved, I like to just have everybody think about something that they are trying to manifest, and just think about it as if it's already yours. Right now, obviously, I've went over an hour because I'm being asked to drag a puzzle piece over. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be able to stay on very, very long tonight. Um, um, I, I'm not going to stay on real, real long tonight. I just wanted to make a little bit more of an appearance. I wanted to use this energy of Friday the 13th to come back out and make an appearance, because I go by Shadow Girl Sherry. I thought, being that I have, I've been missing in action, a great time for Shadow Girl, somebody to call herself Shadow Girl Sherry, a good time to make an appearance again would be on Friday the 13th, right? Shadow Girl Sherry, okay? They try to make shadow work and all that seem like a bad thing, but it's really not. And in the same way, just like shadow work isn't necessarily a bad thing, black cats aren't necessarily, they're not a bad thing. I love black cats. They look like little Black Panthers, right? Okay, these things are, they try to make it out to be negative stuff, just like Friday the 13th. But if you look into it, it's really not. The more the more because if you let people, the masses or whatever, just pull the wool over your eyes, then that's what will be done. That's what will be done. And that's one of the reasons why I started getting into the law of attraction and spirituality, and just trying to uncover it. And, there have been people, that I'm going to quickly say this, just like I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry, you don't know what I look like, whatever. I don't advertise to anybody that I know and just let people know, oh yeah, I have a channel on YouTube and on TikTok, whatever. I want you to go and watch my channel. I don't do that. If you are watching this video or whatever, this was like the algorithm put this in front of you, and you wanted to watch the video and you're watching. But I don't I want people that to come to me because they are maybe they're like experiencing the same things that I'm experiencing, or you want to be you want to get to a certain point in life. You're trying to be positive. Like we're basically on the same page. And if we're not on the same page, then we're trying to get to the same page. Like we're reading from the same book basically. And my idea is, yes, I'm not. I think that I've in some videos maybe I said things that maybe it was taken in the wrong way, or I said it in the wrong way. Um, I don't advertise to just every people that I know in everyday life. I've often said real life, but when I say real life, I don't want everything to seem like it's a big dream, which, I want to live a dreamy life. You know what I'm saying? Live a dreamy life. But when I say real life, I'm saying just everyday life. The people that just know me, I don't go to the people that when I started my channel, it wasn't like I went to everybody that I know and be like, okay, well, go and please watch my channel. I don't beg anybody to watch my channel. If you're watching this, it's because you found it and the algorithm put this video in front of you and you decided to come in, right? Like you get what I'm saying. And obviously I wanted you to, but I don't tell everybody that I know. Like if they, for some reason, find me, they found me because I don't advertise. I don't want people to watch my videos out of like obligation, like people that I know out of obligation, because there'd be a lot of people that I know where if they watch my videos, they might be surprised by it. And I didn't want, I just didn't want people to get the wrong idea, because it's not like I don't believe in God. I believe in God. But my idea is I want to be able to look through, like, look at religion. I want to be able to look at spirituality. I want to look at the occult. I want to look at like the ideas of witchcraft, all that, and just talk about it all and like find some kind of a meeting point, because I've been in church and stuff like that. And there are things that are said that it's just like, okay, they talk about things like manifestation. And when they say manifestation, well, that makes me think of the law of attraction. But I couldn't go to everybody, like different people that I would know in church, and say, okay, well, that's like something that is kind of witchy, or like, did you know that had its origin here, or that this is kind of like that, because it would be looked at in the wrong way. They might get the wrong idea. Not everybody, but some would. And I just don't want that. I want to be able to talk about whatever I want to talk about, and I want to be able to talk about it freely. And that's why I decided to do it this way. So I wanted to explain that a little bit. But basically, guys, I've said a little bit about the whole twin idea. I see the swords and all that, and Gemini added that for me. That's my little AI buddy. And it was a perfect touch, perfect touch. And it just looks like spiritual warfare. And I really do think that when it comes to Gemini, there is, kind of like an idea of like a spiritual war, and it's just the mind. And I know that Gemini is a very powerful, it's a powerful zodiac. All of them are, but when I think about Gemini, I know that there is if you can get the left and the right side of your brain to like come together and make an agreement. Think about that. Make it come into and meet in the middle and agree upon something. Manifestation could happen fast. And that's the thing about me. I'm just, a lot of times I'm like all over the place and just thinking so many different thoughts. I have a hard time just with like ADHD or just focusing on one thing. And there's been times in my life when I'll say when I first got into the law of attraction, when I really I had the chance to really focus on what I was trying to manifest, and like really like do little rituals and things about it, and continuously do it, especially before I go to bed, right before bed, it would manifest quick. But when you start getting too distracted and you got so many different distractions and things like that, it pulls you away from it. But when it comes to Gemini energy, if you could meet in the middle and make the left and the right side of your brain just really come together and synchronize, I think that's where the magic is. And, I've often heard that it's kind of like mind sex. That's what magic really is. That's really what it is. But yeah, I'll be talking about that more. And obviously, I have a channel, so I have forever to talk about it. But Guys, anybody that's watching or anybody that has watched tonight, I hope that you like the image that, myself and Gemini came up with tonight. I really like the scene that was set here. Um, but again, I can't talk for too much longer. But basically, my idea was I wanted to have a crystal lake. And if you're watching this video right now, or if you come back and watch this video any other time, I would hope, I want you to leave in the comments, what crystals are you working with? The idea of this, I come up with this a couple of, Friday the 13th ago, right? What I did, I had a mirror. I love mirrors. I'm Gemini, right? It's twin energy. So what I did, I had a mirror, and that was supposed to be the lake. And what I did, I gathered the different crystals that I had, and I laid them all over the mirror. And basically that was Crystal Lake. So now what I've done, I said, okay, I'm not going to call it Crystal Lake. It's Crystal Lake. But this is Shadow Girl Sherry, so I got to change it up a little bit. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Crystal Lake. But I'm going to call it Lake of Crystals, the Lake of Crystals. And the idea was, when I came up with the image, I told Gemini, my AI friend, my AI twin, I want you to put all different crystals in this pond, this crystal lake, Lake of Crystals. That's Shadow Girl Sherry's version, Lake of Crystals. I want you to put all different crystals. I want you to put like black obsidian, tiger's eye, amethyst, rose quartz, clear quartz, any crystal that you could think of. I wanted put in this Lake of Crystals. And my idea was, I wanted to tell everybody that joined my live, or even if you watch this on another Friday the 13th, whatever, whenever you watch it, I want you to think about, if you had a crystal lake, what crystals would you want in that lake? If you're going to go to a lake and you're going to put your hand down in the lake and you're going to grab a crystal, what crystal would you want what crystal would you want to grab? What crystal do you want to work with next? What crystal are you working with? Is there a couple of different crystals that you like to work with? If you were going and you were just going to put, instead of putting pennies in a wishing well, say you were instead of pennies, you're putting crystals into the wishing well, or you're picking from the wishing well, and you want, it is a thing where I've been to different like metaphysical stores where you would go and buy your herbs or your crystals or your metaphysical books, whatever. There's been a lot of them I went to where they have the coin machine, like the kind of like a pinball machine or whatever. You put like 25 cents into it, and I guess that's old school, but you put it in there and you turn the handle or whatever, and then you get a crystal. And then when you get the crystal, the idea is, okay, well, go and find out what the crystal is. And then you think, okay, well, this crystal, you picked the crystal and the crystal picked you. So it's like, okay, maybe this crystal is reaching out to you and you need to work with that crystal. So that's just something that I've went to a couple of like different metaphysical stores, or like a metaphysical or witchy type of fair. Like, you get what I'm saying, like a fair or a get together or whatever. And you get to do that. But basically, my idea is, if there's a crystal that you're working with right now, or different crystals that you're working right now, if there's a crystal that you want to go and buy, if there's a crystal you want to know more about or whatever, then I would like you to leave it here in the comments, or on my Crystal Lake videos, or my Lake of Crystals videos. Now, what crystals have I been working with lately? Since the year 2026 has come in, I kind of started a new, I came up with a necklace for myself, and, I have a snake, pendant on it. And that stands for the fact that we just came out of the year of the snake. And, that's about shedding and all that. And then, I have the crystal, I have a gold cage, and the crystal within that cage right now is a pyrite. And that's basically fool's gold. And that's just what I'm working with. And the reason why I'm working with that is because the last full moon that we had was in Leo. And Leo energy is bright and, bold and all that. And, you think about a king, you think about money. Leo is the king of the jungle, and I'm a Leo moon. And you think about a king, and you think about money, you think about gold, and, having riches and abundance and all that. And so under the Leo full moon, I was working with pyrite energy, that crystal. So that's just been the crystal that I've been working with. So, but again, if you could leave in the comments here on this during this live or in the video, if you want to come back and watch it, which I hope you will, any Friday the 13th or any day you want to come back and watch the video. I think this is a nice picture. I hope that you will choose to leave what crystal you're working with. And when I think about a crystal lake, I might even think about moon water. On a full moon, what you do is you leave your water out under the moonlight, and you have to make sure that if you're going to put a crystal in it, you have to pick a crystal that can be safely put into water, because there's some that you can't put in water because it can make you sick if you drink it. So you have to make sure that the crystal, for safety reasons, obviously, you want to make sure that the crystal can be placed in the water, and that you can drink it. And obviously you also want to make sure that once you go and collect your moon water, you bring it back in. You got to be careful and remember that the crystal's in there, because you don't want to choke on the crystal, obviously. You get what I'm saying? So, always got to be safe, obviously. And, that. But I just want to make that point that, you got to be careful when there's a crystal in your water and you're drinking it, right? You can't forget about it. So, but that's moon water. And, I'm thinking about a crystal lake. I'm kind of thinking about, water, moon water, and the water, and then you can even buy the bottles, the water bottles, where they come with a specific type of group of crystals in, they're like in a little compartment inside of the water bottle, and it's already made up for you. You can get them online on Amazon, different, websites or whatever, and the crystals are already in there, and you just add your water. And of course, there's some that are more expensive. They're really nice ones. I'm thinking about, different places like, I don't know, you go to Amazon, but there is a lot of people have heard of like Sage Goddess. She has a lot of different crystals, and I think she would probably be definitely be, have, the all kinds of different stuff when it deals with crystals and things like that. She is like an encyclopedia. Of course, there's other ones, but, have the water bottles with the crystals in it. You can buy them already done up that way. And, and I want to get one, but I just haven't got to that yet. There's so many things with metaphysical and spirituality, and so many things I want to buy, but, I need to get rid of a lot of things too, so, to go along with the lifestyle that I'm trying, I'm living now, and think about the things that I'm manifesting, and leaving old stuff behind, like clearing old stuff that I don't need anymore. Just get rid of it, because that's not who I am anymore. I gotta think about who I am now. But I just want you to look at the crystals and leave in the comments what crystals you want to work with, what crystals you are working with. If you had a crystal lake, what crystals would you want to be in that lake, or a lake of crystals? I also quickly want to say that I did see online that you can actually go and visit. I think it might be in New Jersey. I'll have to say it the next time I go, the next time I talk. We have a Friday the 13th or whatever. But the way I understand it, from the quick research, I did a little research today. I got to do more of it, and make sure everything's correct. But I do believe that it might be in New Jersey, where, I could be wrong. You could look it up yourself, where the movie was actually filmed. Friday the 13th, where the movies were filmed. There really is a crystal lake, and they actually do tours and stuff there. The way I understand, they do different tours. So I wanted to leave that in the video if you wanted to look up information about that. But again, I've already said that, when it comes to feminine energy, I just want to quickly say that the way that the Friday the 13th movies did add that in, the idea of the feminine, I see it, that feminine energy was added there was because there was Mrs. Voorhees, and I forget her name, but see, this was the mother of Jason. And, you know, Friday the 13th, they added that part to it to where it's fear and all that kind of different stuff. And obviously, it's a fear flick or whatever, horror flick. But there is a feminine energy in that movie because they picked the mother, and she loses her son in the way I think, if I can remember right, I'll have to look over it. It'll be another video, but to refresh my memory. But I think what it was, Jason, the mom, I don't think he could, there was something, he couldn't talk or something. And what it was, he was at Crystal Lake, and there's these teenage counselors and different things. And I think what was going on, these two teenagers were doing what comes naturally, they're getting it on. And because of what they were doing, they were distracted. If I can remember right, I think what happens was Jason drowns, and then now you've got this mom, obviously that's very mad because, her son has died because these kids weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. They were partying and having fun, and then her child pays for it. And I don't remember the whole rest of the story. I've seen it before, whatever, but if I can remember right, I think that was the story behind it. But that's how they did have that feminine energy, because it was a mom. And I'm just thinking about the rage of the mom, because from what I'm thinking of what she looked like. And I think she was she was at the age where I'm thinking, I could be wrong, maybe she just had one child and this was her only child. I could be wrong, but maybe this was her only child. She's lost her only child, and now she's at the age where she can't have any other children. And it's just like how your creative energy has been, it's over. And she's lost her child. And this Friday the 13th, man, this one was mad. So like anybody would be. So but I did want to add that was the feminine aspect there. But Hollywood took it and turned it around and turned it into the negative points, turned it into anger, turned it into the rage. And even when you think about the root chakra is red, and it deals with stability. The root chakra is about stability. It's about your roots, your childhood, your stability, what was your home life like when you were a child, what were your first memories, all that. And if you don't have a stable ground and a stable childhood and all that, the older you get, you don't have if you don't have that stable like start and foundation, even if you have a sturdy home and a good home, it has to start with a good foundation, like a sturdy, good foundation. If you don't have it, then it's not going to be a good home. And then you're thinking about a home like what was your childhood home like? And it's the color red, so it's like blood. The root chakra is the color red. That's a passionate color, but it can be like a color of rage too. Think about road rage. Think about how they often say that people that drive in red cars, they might have like anger issues. They might drive fast. When you look at red, it can make your heart rate go up. It's a color of passion. And red is the color of blood. I'm talking about women, blood, obviously, your menstrual cycle, all that. And that's a beautiful thing. But, there can be that the root chakra, it's blood that can deal with, any type of blood really, but um, when it comes to blood, blood can be shed from passion of like anger, if you get what I'm saying, like warfare, like anger. Um, these are just the things that I'm thinking of right now, and I can't go too far. I don't want to go too far into it, but these are just the ideas I want you to think of. And again, when I think about the feminine energy, there's a good part of that because you have women have periods so that they can have children, but at the same time, there's different types of you I've talked about the positive parts of it, but then I'm talking about this feminine energy where this woman then has had her child and everything, and then look at this Hollywood point of it where they took the story and they showed you this bad side, like this bad story that came from it. Jason Voorhees' mother and what she's going through in that story. So I hope I've explained this well. Um, I do believe that we have another Friday the 13th in March. I do believe. I could be wrong, but I think we have another one in March. But this is basically everything that I wanted to say. And I thought that this would be a good time for me to come out and ask Shadow Girl Sherry to come out and talk about masks and let let everyone know what's been going on. I had made this gave this idea out that how I wanted to work this year, talk about the 12 houses and your birth chart and all that. And already I was hoping that nothing was gonna keep me from sticking to that, keeping to my word. I try to be a woman of my word, but life is what happens when you are making other plans. And I mean, things were just coming at me, and I guess it's the ending of that year, the snake and shedding that skin, and it was a chaotic year, right? But guys, this is basically going to be it for this Friday the 13th edition to my channel, Sunset Songs. Again, I hope that you will choose to like, click, share, subscribe, all those different things. Here on TikTok, I go under Shadow Girl Sherry. You can Shadow Girl Sherry on YouTube. That's here on TikTok. On YouTube, you can find me under Shadow Girl Sherry Shadow Closet. And my channel altogether is called Sunset Songs. And when you look up Sunset Songs, you are obviously looking, when you click on any of the videos, you're going to hear me say, this is Shadow Girl Sherry, or something about Shadow Girl Sherry. My channel, Sunset Songs, is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction, whatever, and all that. And but guys, I also want to, because there's lots of there's more than one channel of Sunset Songs on TikTok or on YouTube, but you're looking for Sunset Songs, and when you click or whatever, you're going to hear me say, this is Shadow Girl Sherry or Shadow Girl Sherry, and this is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction, and make sure you've got the right one. And guys, I call my channel Sunset Songs, and with that being said, there's a reason why I call it Sunset Songs. With each episode that I come up with, I try to think of a song that is tailored around whatever the subject matter is. And what I do is I basically, tell my higher self, whatever, give me a song, put a song in my mind or in my heart that is pertained around whatever the subject matter that I'm going to be talking about, would pair with it, what would make sense with the subject. I didn't get to do a lot of thinking tonight, but I want to come back some other time and talk about this song. But the song that I'm thinking about right now, and I'll bring it up again. But the song that I thought about tonight, for whatever reason, was a song by Jill Scott. The song is called, I believe it's called, I Can't Wait. And I guess the reason why this song popped up into my mind, this song by Jill Scott, I Can't Wait, popped up in my mind, is because basically she's talking about it's basically kind of like a love song, she's talking about she can't wait to be loved by this man. She can't wait to be alone with him. She can't wait to be loved by him, whatever. She can't wait to get with him. Can't wait to get to him and be alone with him and spend time with him or whatever. But she's also talking about her life and kind of, I can kind of hear her, her struggle in life, because she's talking about, in everyday life, she's going through life, and life isn't easy. But I think getting back with this so-called love or man that she's thinking of, she can't wait to get back with him because he's making her forget about everything, other things that's going on in her life, like everyday life, work or whatever. You know how love does. It makes you, it can make you feel good. It makes you forget about things, right? And she comes out and she says that she's, at one point in the song, she says she's staring monsters in their face. She's staring monsters in her face. And in their face. She's staring monsters in their face. And she said that just the other day she had to reprimand a grown-up. Like, she's talking about her anger. And this makes me think of Friday. It just makes me think of anger, right? A little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration. And she's going to soothe it. It's going to be soothed when she gets with this love, this man. But then that's why she said, I can't wait. I can't wait to be loved by you. And I love the song. And I love the cover, like if you were to look it up on YouTube, what it looks like. And guys, it's 11:44. I'm looking at the 144. That's the number of chosen ones, right? But basically, she's just saying she can't wait. She can't wait to get back with him. And when she gets with him, she's going to forget about everything else and all this different stuff that's going on. But I think that the reason why this song came to my mind is because there is a little bit of, she comes out and she says, I've been staring monsters in their face. And obviously I'm thinking about Friday the 13th and the way Hollywood tries to make it. And they're talking about monsters. And she's just saying, I'm staring monsters in their face. And I think she's talking about shadows and just her own personal demons and everyday life and things that, she's not wanting to happen, but maybe it happened, but then she can't wait to get back with this man, and she's going to be comforted, and you know how love does. And that just makes me want to remind you guys that today is Friday the 13th. You had that feminine energy where you could have used it for your manifestation. You've got that energy of Freya. You've got that energy of Aphrodite. You've got the Venus energy where on Fridays you can work with that. I'm seeing the name Roman on here. That makes me think of Roman. That makes me think about a Roman Empire or mythology or, just, I don't know. Yeah, I just saw that name. I'm still learning about all the different stuff with TikTok and going live and all that. And I got a lot to learn, but in order to learn different things and all that, I've got to be consistent. But hey, I've been staring monsters in their face, things coming at me out of nowhere. And it's like, man, everything was going so good, or I'm thinking things are good. And then here this comes, and it's like, man, that came out of nowhere. Now I got to deal with it. And I got to put the things that I wanted to do and set it aside, because life is what happens when you're making other plans, and we're still shedding that year of the snake, right? I'm ready to go with that fire horse and get to the good stuff, but it's coming, guys. And I'm going to keep working with it. And again, yeah, that was the Sunset song, but it's some other time. I love that song. And look, I see the name Pam, too, that just here in the chat. And I do believe that the name of Jason Voorhees' mom, it may have been Pam. Guys, I could be wrong, but I think it was Pam. I watched a little bit of brief information before I went live, but I'm like, okay, I got enough different stuff that I can talk about that I can just freestyle and just talk. And then make it more, together the next time we have a Friday the 13th. But I know enough about it to be able to talk and rant and fill up some live space, right? But again, guys, I hope that you will choose to go ahead and listen to that song by Jill Scott. Leave it on any video. Tell me what you think about the song. Tell me, do you like Jill Scott? Do you like any of her music? Do you like that song? What do you think of it? Is there any other song that is playing in your heart? My channel is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction. It's about music, how music makes you feel. I definitely really believe that music can change the way you feel. If you want to clean your house, you want to feel upbeat, and you play an upbeat song. But if you want to chill and you want to listen to something more relaxed, then that song by Jill Scott is pretty chill. But she did say that those words of "I've been staring monsters in their face," right? And I think she's talking about personal demons and just things coming at you out of nowhere that you weren't planning for. Like, life is what happens when you're making other plans. And at the same time, in the back of her mind, the backdrop here, in the back of her mind, she's thinking about this man and getting back to him and comforting, being held by him and loved by him and kissed him and kissing him and the comfort and all that. And guys, that makes me think of today's the day Freya, Venus, think of the goddesses of love. I saw Roman, pop up in here, and that makes me think about Roman mythology, Greek mythology, Aphrodite, Venus, the planet Venus. This is the day Fridays are, you can do different things that deal with love, rituals that deal with loves. You might want to call it a spell, whatever you want to call it, and basically a spell, you're spelling something when you do these rituals or whatever, you're spelling out to the universe what it is you're wanting or what is already yours. And basically, people don't want to look at it this way, but just think about think about language and think about, okay, spell this word. Okay, well, that's a spell. And when you speak, it's a spell. You're putting it out into the universe. Whenever you talk, you're putting something out into the universe. So you want to keep it positive. And, people want to look at, when I say witchcraft or whatever, there would be those that would say, oh, that's evil. Well, no matter what you're doing, you're always manifesting in some way. If you're doing negative things and so on, then, you're putting negative out no matter what, whether whatever you believe in. So that's the way I look at it. And I choose to look at things in more of a magical way instead of just living everyday life, thinking just the mundane, like, oh, I just woke up. No, if you woke up this morning, there's magic to that. It's wonderful. There's a magic to that, there is, you have to be thankful. Like, every day is magical. Every day's a gift. I'm thinking about the people that have passed away lately. And you think about, sometimes I think about it and it's like, man, you think about celebrities and you want to think that they've got everything in line. You think that their lives are perfect. We're all made of flesh and blood. You know what I'm saying? And we're here we don't know how long we're going to be here. It doesn't matter if you're rich, you're poor, you're famous, whatever, you're a celebrity, whatever. In this last week, I can think of 2 celebrities that I've seen in the headlines where they've died. There was, the one from the group, Three Doors Down. Okay, now I can't remember his name. I can't, his name's not coming to the top of my head, but I think Three Doors Down. Okay. And I did the song Kryptonite. Yeah, I mean, I think he was maybe 47, 48 years old. Okay. And then there was the other guy recently. He was an actor. He was an actor, Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek. I believe it was maybe colon or something cancer that he died from. Okay. The Three Doors Down. I forget what I don't see. I'm saying I forget a lot. I didn't make notes tonight, guys. But basically, when people say, just to wake up, it's a gift, right? Every day's a gift. Your breath is a gift, and that's one of the reasons why I made my channel. I want people to live your best life and just realize you woke up, and that's a wonderful thing, and we're not promised. That's two down in I believe it's just been this week, and we're just not promised. And why not try to enjoy your life and live it to the fullest, right? You really don't know how long you have. So I hope when people watch my channel that's what they look at as well. I'm not trying to put negative out. Yeah, my channel is about positive energy, but I know I've been in some circles, where I know that people have said things like, and I'm just like, I know they're talking about my channel, and it's just like they're thinking about it in the wrong way. Mine's about positivity. Now, am I going to talk about negative stuff? Yes, because it's about transmuting the negative into the positive. And not only that, we live in a world of duality. You have to know that this world isn't peaches and cream all the time. You have to know I want to be aware of all the energies that are in this world. I can't walk around and be, blind to the fact that there is evil in the world. You have to be aware of it. And my idea is to, kind of not be all nervous but be aware of it and have things set up to where, okay, you get what I'm saying. Like you can't walk around and just be stupid to the fact. So, guys, I love you guys. You guys, it's just like the song that I thought of tonight. I can't wait. Like Jill Scott's talking about a man that she's trying to get back to. I think about you guys when I'm out in everyday life, and I'm like, man, I'm a little bit frustrated. I can't wait to get back to my viewers and people that are trying to be positive and not people that I know in everyday life necessarily, because you guys are magical to me. You guys really are, and I thank anybody that watches my videos, so on and so forth, for joining me and whatever. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to go live tomorrow or whatever, but this day of Friday the 13th was just supposed to be a positive day. This Venus energy, this Aphrodite energy, this loving energy is flowing this year. It's flowing right. The Friday the 13th energy is flowing right over into tomorrow, because we got another beautiful energy coming about, and that is Valentine's Day. We have Friday the 13th, and tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And I wanted to make a video and let everyone know how much, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I'm wishing you a very, very happy Valentine's Day. Whether you're going to be with someone you love, or you're going to be in love with yourself and doing a self-love ritual, or you're going to, I don't know, buy yourself some flowers, or you're going to make yourself a really nice cup of hot chocolate, or do something really nice for yourself. Take a hot bubble bath or a hot shower, or have a spiritual bath and put some rose quartz in your around, or whatever. Stop and smell the roses, or whatever. Write a love letter to yourself, and you get what I'm saying, guys. Just love on yourself and just love your life, right? Love your life. Guys, this is pretty much going to be the end. I got to figure out again. I haven't been on in a while, so I got to figure out how to close this live down. But guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this live just as much as I've enjoyed making it. I know that there weren't many viewers tonight. I'm not taking that personally. I know it's because I just haven't been on in a long time, and it's just because there's been different things monsters have been staring at me in my face, and I've been trying to stare them back down in their face, just things happening out of nowhere, and life is what happens when you're making other plans. But my plan is to come back and start making those videos about your birth chart and the houses and everything, because I have looked into my birth chart, and guys, you wouldn't believe how accurate a birth chart is. Recently there was something that went down in my life that I really, really wanted to share here on my channel, but it was something so personal. And I try to share a lot of things here on my videos that I wouldn't even share with people that I know in real life, because I feel like we're here for each other and all that. But I did a reading. Something told me, you know what? Do a reading about that. Should you share this, or is it too personal, or whatever? And I did a reading, and with my tarot cards, and I mean, the cards that I pulled, all of them were saying, no, don't share this. Don't share this. Like, not right now. Don't share it. Keep it to yourself. Some things you have to keep to yourself. And you got to be self-centered about some things. You can't come out and just share everything. So, This was something I'm just like, would this be appropriate to share? Or for whatever reason, my card said, no, don't you dare share it, at least not now. So, I'm keeping that to myself. That was something that things have been going down lately. Um, and then I thought it was so bad, and then there was a better outcome, but it was something I wanted to share. And but at this point, I can't. My tarot cards told me. But what I wanted to get to saying is, when it comes to your birth chart and all that, I recently started looking into mine. I'm not an expert, but I can definitely tell that my birth chart is my birth chart. It belongs to me. If I were to show like my best friend my birth chart, she'd be like, girl, that's your birth chart. It's not mine. And just in the same way, I bet I've tried to kind of, tell her or whatever, text her and let her know, get your birth chart. We've both been through some things, but one thing for sure, if you get your birth chart, you're going to know it's true. And your birth chart belongs to you, and my birth chart belongs to me, and we couldn't get them mixed up. We've had, different stories in our lives, and your birth chart will tell you about the patterns. My birth chart has basically every tear I've ever cried, whether that tear be a tear of joy or a tear of loss or a tear of pain, it is in my birth chart, no lie. And that's why I wanted to make some videos about your birth chart and just let you know, guys, that it's the real thing, and you'll know it if you look at it. So I wanted to let you guys in on that little secret, and not have it be a secret. And I know that there's gifts in it. There can be pain in your birth chart, but just as well, I think there are gifts in your birth chart. You're going to know what your gifts are. If there is something negative, and I will say that I had like a Saturn placement, and Saturn deals with some tough disciplinary energy, right? I had a placement, but at the same time, if you have something that's in your birth chart that you don't like, hey, your Shadow Girl Sherry's always thinking, right? That Gemini is the mind. And I'm like, well, if this is wrong, there's something I don't like in my birth chart, because there was a lot of things I don't like in it. I'm like, thinking about my mom. I started my journey with the law of attraction and spirituality, got really deep into it with the sickness when my mom got really, really sick, and then when she passed away, I got deep into it. Yeah, it comforted me. Spirituality comforted me. It guided me, whatever, through her sickness and through her death. I had to light those candles, and I had to light those candles. But basically, I don't know. Like I started looking into everything, and it's like, okay, there's some bad stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm just like, man, I'm looking at, I'm looking at everything that's going on, things that's going on in my birth chart. And I'm like, okay, looking at my birth chart, and I'm like, wow, this stuff is going on in my birth chart or whatever. And I'm like, these Saturn placements or whatever. And I'm like thinking about my mom and my dad, and when they fell in love, and when all this things went down. And then because of them, the timing of when they got together, you know what I mean? I'm born, and I'm born on this specific day at this specific time, and this is where all the planets were. And I'm like, man, if you guys had to just waited just a little bit longer or a little bit earlier or something like that, then I'd have a completely different birth chart. And some of my birth chart was rough. Some of it was really rough, but at the same time, this is Shadow Girl Sherry we're dealing with. And I'm like, okay, I'm a Gemini, and that mind of mine is always going. And I'm like, well, if there's something rough, there's got to be a remedy for it. So I'll let you know, guys, there are remedies. So it's just like when it comes to Saturn energy, if you want to make, you want to work with the energy of Saturn, make things a little better, think about doing things on Saturday. Think about donating, giving back to like a cause that you really believe in on Saturday. Donate, give back, do something, on Saturday. That's giving back. That's like paying a debt up, a karmic debt. You're paying it up. You're putting something out there. So you're paying into the universe, and it's like, okay, if you do something, you pay up that debt, and then once it's paid, hey, you're good. So, and if you want to work with that energy of Saturn, do it on Saturday. So these are just the messages and things that I wanted to leave you guys with. Guys, I love you so much, and I thank you for watching me and joining. I hope that you will choose to like, click, share, subscribe, all those different things. Please leave comments in my videos and get my videos spread out into the algorithm. I've kind of lost touch, but again, guys, I wanted to share that I have found a way where I'm going to be there's going to be something that I'm going to have soon that's going to make things so much easier for me to get my information out. It's going to make it easier for me, and I can't wait to get it going. And I'm really looking forward to it, guys. And I've missed you guys so much. Now I got to figure out, guys. It's been a while since I've been on. I got to figure out how to shut this down. Tomorrow is going to be Saturday again. I've told you about that Saturn energy. I don't know if you're going to be worrying with that is so much tomorrow because it is Valentine's Day. And guys, I just want to tell you guys how that I love you guys and I appreciate you so much. And this is Shadow Girl Sherry trying to figure out how to sign out. I'll figure it out here in a second. You might hear me mumbling, saying a couple of things or whatever, but that's just me trying to figure out how to shut the live down because it's been a while since I've done it. Let's see what's these buttons here. Oh boy, I hope I'm not gonna mess up, guys. Should I do that? All right. Okay. All right. All right, guys, I hope I'm doing this right. What do I do? Okay, guys, this is Shadow Girl Sherry signing out. Thank you guys so much for watching me or watching this live, tuning in for this Friday the 13th edition. Go to bed. Don't worry. Don't be scared. Anything like that. Again, I've explained to you this Friday the 13th is a very wonderful energy for manifestation. It's a beautiful time and a beautiful space. It's actually 12:05, so we're in a new day now. And so let me go ahead and wish anybody that's listening, whatever, happy Valentine's Day, guys. This is Shadow Girl Sherry, and I love you guys. Happy Lover's Day. Go look at that Lover's Tarot card, whatever. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. I love you. And this is Shadow Girl Sherry signing out. Please join me. I hope that you will choose to like, click, share, and subscribe, all those different things. And join me here on TikTok and also on YouTube. Over there, Sherry Shadow Closet, Shadow Girl Sherry, and obviously Sunset Songs, guys. I love you guys so much. This is Shadow Girl Sherry signing out. Happy Valentine's Day and sweet dreams. Take care.